So question 24 here is actually a really good continuation on question 23 when thinking about the twin paradox. So let's go through our question. So a spaceship traveled from planet A to planet B at a speed of 0.90 c. Our c denotes the speed of light. 0.9 is telling me that it's 90% of the speed of light. An observer that was stationary relative to both planets measured the time taken for the trip to be 4 years. So I'm going to write this down straight off the bat, is that an observer, so when we think of our formula already for time dilation, because we can kind of already, I guess, tell that this is what the question's alluding to for our time dilation, we have t with t naught over 1 minus our v squared on c squared. And that's in our formula book. Another way to think of the formula is t naught is actually multiplied. So our t naught here is multiplied by the Lorentz factor, which would be 1 over this. And so we have the t, which is the observed time or the dilated time. So I would write down all my variables as I go through the question. So t is equal to 4 years. And we can read the rest of the question, and it's calculate the time taken for the trip as measured by an observer on the spaceship. So they can use language like this to try and trip you up. In this case, our observer is on the spaceship, the one that is traveling at the 0.90 c. So for this, let's go into our question, substitute the rest of the variables we know. We know the velocity is equal to 0.90 c. So we can go through, therefore, (4.0) is equal to t naught over root 1 minus, in brackets, 0.9 c squared over c squared. Therefore, I'm going to go through the steps because maybe a lot of people haven't quite seen it, but you would get 1. I'm just going to put the root here with brackets to just save carrying 0.9. So 0.9 squared, I will just write as 9 squared here, and it's multiplied by c squared. We just have our square going out over the brackets. And then we have it divide by c squared. What we know is we can tidy this up and cancel out the c squared. So I'm going to clean it up in this step. And what we end up getting left with is 1 minus 0.9 squared. In brackets, we can simply arrange. So my next step continued from here would be 4.0 multiplied by root 1 minus 0.9 squared. And that will equal our t naught. Punch that into our calculator. What we end up getting is t naught is equal to 1.7. Our units for this was in terms of years, or at least time was. So we can write our answer as 1.7 years, and that's to 1 decimal place.